If you're not a reader, you need to read this book. What's up, everybody? It's Tony back with another video. So yeah, today I wanted to talk about the book that actually changed my whole life. And I know this sounds crazy. I know people who are used to BookTube, obviously you probably read. And so if this is not like a big deal to you, but it's a really big deal to me because I never read a whole book until the book that I'm gonna talk about. And usually I've tried books, you know, I even tried it like paperback or whatever. I tried to get one on Kindle to see if that would make it any different or whatever. I never finished a book until this one. And I'm gonna tell you why and just give you a little background on myself. Like I said, I hated reading in school. I never read a whole book before. My sister is an avid reader, total book nerd or whatever. She reads like pretty much every single day. I thought she was crazy. I felt that it was kind of like a waste of valuable time sitting there reading a book. So long story short, my sister, I don't know why she recommended, oh, I know why. Because I was like, I don't have a hobby or whatever. I don't really have anything that I love to do. And she's like, you should really try reading. If you read the right books that are your style or whatever, you probably would actually like it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So anyway, after her finally bugging me a lot, I went ahead and I ordered this book, which is The Coworker by Freida McFadden. And why I picked this book, I really don't know. My sister had told me about Freida McFadden. She said, for those who love thrillers, she's the author that you want to go to. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. So I ordered the book from Amazon. It sat like in my garage for a while. And then pretty soon I told my sister, I was like, you know what, you can have that book. I'm never gonna read it. I'm just not interested in reading. And she was like, okay, cool. So like a month probably went by. And then I was like, you know what? Can you give me that book back? I think I want to try reading. She was like, all right, bet. So she gave me the book back. And so I started reading it. And when I tell you guys, like it's hard to catch my attention because I'm the type, if a movie's not good, like in the first 5 minutes or whatever, I'm gonna turn it off or I'm not gonna pay attention to it. And so a book is like even worse to me, especially for somebody who doesn't read. And so when I tell you that within the first, it might've been like the first page or at least the first few pages, I was completely hooked and I could not put the book down. And so for those of you, if you're not familiar with Freida McFadden, she is the author of psychological thrillers. She has one of her best-selling books, a New York Times bestseller, is The Housemaid, and then there's another book after that called The Housemaid's Secret. And she has a whole bunch of other books, a whole bunch. But like I said, the one I chose was The Coworker. I literally just went on Amazon. I don't even think I really read what it was about or anything. I just liked the cover and I liked the fact that it was called The Coworker. So it's probably something about an office setting, which I kind of like for whatever reason. So anyway, on the cover of the book, it has like an elevator, like to an office, a red shoe, some blood splattered on the elevator. You know, the coworker is wrote in some creepy red. And so then on the back, it says, 2 women, an office filled with secrets, one terrible crime that can't be taken back. Dawn Schiff is strange. And so Dawn Schiff is one of the main characters in the book. And she is like, I mean, when they say strange, she is weird. She's really like nerdy, but that's not even what makes her so weird because there's nerds everywhere. I'm even kind of a nerd myself, but she actually was obsessed with turtles. When I say obsessed, you know how people like, there's some kind of animal they really like and they might have a couple little trinkets, you know, sitting on a shelf at their house or whatever. They might have a turtle keychain, you know, something like that. When I say obsessed, she had turtles like all over the place. Like at the office, they were on her desk, like all over. Everything was about a turtle. In her house, turtles all over the place. Just, I mean, turtle everywhere. And it was just like weird. And she, like nobody else really is obsessed with turtles. It's not a thing you're really obsessed with. But she was so obsessed with it that she felt other people should be interested in it. So literally if somebody tried to have a conversation with her, she started giving all these facts on turtles and all these different types of turtles and just stuff nobody else would be interested in, but yet she would still keep talking about it. She's weird because she never had any friends. She did weird things at work. And I know this might sound crazy, but like literally it's okay to be on time from work, you know, whatever. But she was at work, like clockwork, every day at 8:45 a.m. And so kind of the whole scene is set when one day at 8:45 she wasn't there. And like people thought that was weird. Some people probably didn't care because they thought she was so weird they didn't bother. But the other main character, Natalie, who is supposed to be beautiful, she's the top salesperson at this, they all work at this nutritional supplement company called Vox or whatever. And I think that's what it's called, Vox. And she was like top salesperson. She was popular. She was supposed to be beautiful and all this kind of stuff. And she sat next to Dawn. And she talked to her a little bit, but you know, it was kind of like a joke. Really, she wasn't like really friends with her. But even she was concerned when Dawn didn't show up. What I like about Freida McFadden's writing, other authors do this too, but she'll write, like, say the first chapter will be like in the present or something, or it'll be yesterday, you know, or something like that. And then she'll go back and forth between the past and then she'll bring it back to present time. And so you can get the background story, but she doesn't like lump all the background story into one. You kind of just have to sit there and be intrigued to wait, you know, kind of to see what happens and how the story all ties together. The other thing I like about this author, I don't know, this, like I said, is the only book I've read, so I don't know if other authors do this too, but when I read a mystery, I want to keep guessing at who I think is the killer or the bad person or whatever, and I want to be wrong. If I'm right every time I read something, then to me it's not a good like mystery or a thriller if I can figure it out. And this one, when I tell you guys, I could not figure it out, even after it was all said and done, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, now I get it. It all ties together. That's what happened. Towards the end, there'll be another couple pages and it even takes it a step further. And you like, even after I knew the conclusion of the book, I was even wrong about a certain character, even a little bit more. I mean, it's just crazy how she writes. The other thing I like about Freida McFadden, and I don't think most authors are like this, and that's why I can't get into books. So I know it's a book, it's not a movie, so you have to describe, you have to say in the book, it's raining outside, you know, it's dark, the floor creaked when she walked on it. Whatever the case, you have to kind of like describe stuff or else no one's gonna really be able to visualize what the author's talking about. So I get all that. But when it gets too descriptive, where you're spending pages upon pages like describing a tree or, you know, what a couch looked like, something like that, I lose interest so quickly. So with Freida McFadden, for those of you who are like me and don't need all that extra stuff, I need enough to get me so I can kind of visualize it in my mind, but I don't need all the extra. So Freida McFadden, she says what she has to say, she describes it, and then you kind of can just go from there. She doesn't spend pages upon pages trying to describe what somebody looked like. I do not like that. That's so boring to me and it loses my interest. So that's what I love about Freida McFadden. And so my sister told me that it's called pop thriller. I don't know what it's, whatever, something like that, where you just kind of get to the point. Also, what I love, this is for the readers, probably gonna leave me like I'm crazy, but if a book is like too long, like I could never sit there and read like a Harry Potter book. I can't even, as much as I like Stephen King's movies, I could not read a Stephen King book, and I don't care how much everybody tells me the Carrie book is way better than the movie, and there's more details and everything. There's no way I can read a book that long. I won't say no way. I might give it a try, but I just can't see my interest staying with the book, you know, that's like 600, 700, 1,000 pages or whatever like that. So Freida McFadden's her books stay like within 350-ish or something, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. And so I like that also. And not even just going by the page. It's not like she has this super small, tiny font. So 300 really equals 600. It's like a normal font size. So I know this might not be important to a lot of people, but it's very important to me because I just things can lose my attention so quickly that this is actually really important. So like I was saying, the book starts off, Dawn didn't show up for work, which was really weird because she's not the type that even miss work or anything like that. It's gonna pop up like on one of her turtles, or I think she gave a turtle to Natalie. I read this book like several weeks ago, so I don't remember every little detail about it, but she gave like a turtle to Natalie, I think, or something, and it ended up broke with blood on it. And it's just like all this crazy stuff. And like Natalie ends up going to Dawn's house, you know, and finding clues, and there's blood all over the floor and all this kind of stuff. And it just has you thinking this and that. There's some, like a person will ring Natalie's phone, and she heard them say help, and she thought it sounded like Dawn's voice, and she could never get a hold back to that person or whatever, something. It's just all this crazy stuff. And then there's also like a manager there, his name is Seth, you know, and well, he's the manager, basically. I'll just put it like that. I don't want to give too much away. And there's also Caleb, who is another one of the main characters, who's Natalie's boyfriend, and he's really key in this story. And so, like I said, it just kept my attention. Every time I thought I had figured out, I mean, this happened probably like 10 times. I was like, oh, I know what's going to happen. I get it. I know who did this. I know what happened. And I was wrong every single time, which makes me excited. I want to be wrong. I don't want to be able to guess what's going to happen at the end of a book. And even if you can kind of guess, like, there's a twist to it. And so some things I was kind of a little bit right about, but then there was another twist, and so I wasn't absolutely right. And so it just really kept my interest, trying to figure everything out. So like I said, probably all you real readers and booktubers, especially if you're into thrillers, I'm sure you've heard of Freida McFadden. I'm sure you've read her books. Like I said, her most popular book is The House. I always call it The Housemaid. And I think there's gonna be a movie being made of that. I'm excited about that. But I'm gonna talk about more what I've read already in some other videos. And I have read other books by Freida McFadden after The Coworker. I will say, like, The Coworker, I believe, is still my favorite book. And I don't know if it's just because it's the one that got me started or whatever, but that book is just it for me. So if you have not read The Coworker by Freida McFadden yet, I highly recommend that book. And if you have read it, or you intend to read it or whatever, I want you to comment and tell me what you think about it, and if you give it such a high regard as I do. Because to me, it's just awesome. If I had not read that book, if that had not been the first book that I ever read, I don't know if I would be a reader right now. So that's what got me started. And like I said, I've read other Freida McFadden books and I love them. I will talk about them more in another video. But anyway, I just wanted to put this out there, just let you guys know, and anybody is kind of thinking about reading, or if you're interested in psychological thrillers, I highly recommend Freida McFadden as an author. And the book I highly recommend is The Coworker, as well as some of her other ones too, but The Coworker is my favorite. So if you like this video, thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to my channel already, go ahead and click on the subscribe button so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video, and I will see you in the next one.